Hello, welcome to this channel, Visa Talks with K. So today we'll be diving into the popular questions and issues people have around the Malta study visa, like the interview. How do you prepare for it, right? So today we'll be giving you 8 tips of practice areas where you can practice when you once you have the call for your visa interview, and also we'll give you possible examples or best responses to these questions when you ask. So let's just begin with the point. So yeah, so the first thing about Malta um, interview process is that you need to first know how to introduce yourself, right? Self introduction is key. So yes, the first point that I could mention is prepare yourself for self-introduction. How do you introduce yourself? You start with a very strong introduction, right? Talk about your academic background, talk about your work experience, and most importantly, talk about why you want to study in that specific course in Malta. Think about your motivation for self-development and career advancement. Explain how the course you're trying to study would help you improve your socioeconomic status back home. So, for example, look at it. Basically, you could just once they ask you, okay, introduce yourself. You say, "Hello, my name is so and so. I graduated with a degree in so and so, and I've been working in the field for the past XYZ years, right? I am passionate about um, my field, and I believe that studying, you mentioned the course name in Malta, will provide me with the requisite skills and knowledge to advance my career and contribute to my community back home." So you could see how simple a self-introduction look like, but make it strong. Let's cover key areas of what you have as experience, and also key areas what you have as your academic background. It's quite important you meet that standard so that you have a very strong starting point when you start your introduction for the interview. So the next thing you need to also know is that you need to be real and natural. So when you're answering the question, stay relaxed and be yourself, right? You don't need to sugarcoat any information. You don't need to lie. Be authentic. Authenticity is the key, right? If they ask you a follow-up question, will be able to identify, you'll be able to defend your answers confidently. So if you lie and they ask you follow-up questions that you don't have answer about, then it becomes a problem. But if you're authentic, no matter how many follow-up questions they ask you, you will be able to defend them and answer them confidently. So you need to be natural, be real. That's very important. So that's another point that you need to note. So for the third interview practice area, it talks about knowing your school and the course. So be familiar with the details of your course and the school, right? Mention the course level, the duration, have an understanding of the overview, even the modules, like the course content. So if your course is a 1 year program, you know the course by semester. Which course are you taking in which semester? Which one are you taking in the next semester? Just have an overview of these things, right? It's good that you have them. Keep them handy, as a form of your the memory you have in terms of your the program, understanding of the program. So know the hours per week, know the name and location, of course. I mean, this is very simple, of your school. I mean, if you don't know the name of your school and the location, then why are you going to study in Malta, right? So you talk about your accommodation, its cost, and the distance from your school, right? So if you're able to have this information, it will clearly demonstrate that you have thoroughly planned and you're actually committed to studying in Malta. It's very important. So know these things at the tips of your fingers, so practice them well so that you are better you have better knowledge, when asked this question. So if you look at this example as a form of responding or kind of aggregating all these things I've mentioned, it could just be I am enrolled in, mention the course title, which is an MFQ. So MFQ is a Malta qualification framework, which is kind of the categorization of programs based off of the level of education. So I think for masters, MFQ level is around 7 or so. But again, you can check it out and ensure you know the MFQ level of your course, right? Because you would be asked, you might be asked, so it's better you add that as understanding. So it lasts for a duration of XYZ with XYZ Learning Awards. My school name is blah 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 and is located in blah 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 city, right? It is I'll be staying in an accommodation, of course, you know the name, which is that's kilometers from the school, costing me that's per month, right? I understand that in Malta, once you have the student card, I mean transportation is free, but if by any means you need to transport or have a cost for that, then you can include. If not, you can just omit that line. Remember, this is a guide, right? So you don't need to take it hook, line, and sinker, just to have an idea of how you can practice and how you can better respond. This is why we're doing this. So this is for and again, it's a PPT presentation, so you can actually refer to them, you know, even after the video, so you are clear. Even if you don't have clear understanding, you can refer to them and get clearer, better clarification. So the fourth point you need to know is about you need to know about Malta. So do your homework on Malta, learn about its culture, its economy, what makes Malta unique, its location, its government system, you know, even the name of the president or prime minister. Have those information, be current, you know, it's a current affairs details of Malta. Know them at the tips of your finger. So it shows that you are genuinely interested in the country. You know, most times people say Malta is a transit point into Europe, right, into the Schengen area. So you need to prove yourself in front of the interviewer that you know what you're doing and you know why you know why you are coming to Malta. You need to show that genuine interest. So know about Malta. It's very important. Know about Malta. Practice very well. Have this and point at the tips of your fingers. And the fifth point you need to know is why Malta, right? Why did you choose Malta over other countries? So in this question, you need to highlight your motivations, like the low cost of living, like affordable tuition, of course, which is why most people go to Malta, and high quality of education. So mention the ranking of your chosen school if it's impressive. So for instance, University of Malta is the number one ranking university in Malta. So if you're a student of University of Malta, that's a point. That's an impressive point. So do your research about your school so that you can make it a point of interest, that's why you are going. If you can dig further, know about the faculty strengths, if maybe there's a certain professor that gone, you know, that done a couple of awards within Europe. So, and that's why you want to go, because it aligns with your interest, your research interest, and you like the pedigree that the faculty members possess. So, those sort of information, you need to know them, and you can't know them without proper research. So, for instance, look at the example. I chose Malta. I chose Malta because of its high quality. It offers high quality education at an affordable cost. The living expenses are lower compared to other European countries, making it an ideal place for international students. Very simple, very short, but captures the key details. So for a follow-up question could now be, okay, you are comparing Malta's living expenses with other European countries. What other European countries have you compared actually Malta with, for you to now come to that agreement or that understanding that Malta is the place? So of course you check, and you know, maybe you've compared with France, you've compared with Switzerland, you've compared with even neighboring countries within closer to the borders of Malta. So just do your due diligence, ensure that you have better understanding. Again, do your research, have information at the tip of your fingers. It's very important. So the sixth point is the source of funds. So for instance, if they would, I mean, the interviewer might be interested in how you want to provide the funds for your study. So also discuss your tuition, how much you've paid already, how you plan to cover the remaining costs. Remember, don't go say, oh, you are planning to work and get that money to pay your tuition. You can't meet up. You know, most people in Malta will tell you you can't really work to pay your tuition except you have a very very good job, which of course as a foreigner the chances of that are slim as a beginner. Yeah, you can be lucky, no doubt, don't get me wrong, but ensure that you don't go say you want to pay by working. No, have your plan. I mean, you have your money in your home country, you have your sponsor, you know, then of course mention the relationship between you and your sponsor. It's important. It's very important. So look at this example. You mentioned the total tuition fee, which amount, which you've already paid a certain percentage, or you can mention the exact cost, the exact cost you've paid, and it will cover, and you will cover the rest of the tuition, the rest of your remaining fees through XYZ funding, through your home country, through your parents, through your sponsor, or through the money you've saved and you still have in your bank account that you can convert to pay your tuition, right? So if you have your sponsor, you say my sponsor is, you mention the relationship, who will be sponsoring me, who should be supporting my education financially. So ensure that you at least have this tip. Remember, again, it is an example. You don't need to stick to this as a form of response, but it will guide you. You can build further on this, no doubt. You can build further on this. So just don't stick. If you feel you have better answers, yes, you can provide them, to fit your own style and your own preference, basically. So the seventh point you need to know is that you need to practice a show of strong home and economic ties. Very, very important. So you talk about your job status, talk about the family members, talk about other times that will bring you back home. This will show that you have reason to return back home after your study. Remember, what you're giving is not a residence permit. It's not a permanent residence permit, right? It's a study permit. So you need, even though you are staying on a study visa, it's a temporary stay. If you want to stay further, you need to get a work permit and transition to PR, right? But for the purpose of your study, you need to show, for the purpose of your interview, you need to show that you have home ties back home that would bring you after the return of your studies. That's very important because you don't want to make a situation where, or don't want to send a signal to the interviewer that you're not ready to come back. That could be a blocker to the success of your visa. So if you look at this example, it says, currently I'm working, you mentioned the job. I have strong family connections back home, including my family members. You could mention their numbers, and the course will help me secure a better job and contribute to my community back home, right? So it shows that you're going there to study and you have intentions to come back. So because once you come back, you have better job prospects, you have opportunities for socioeconomic development. So it's important that you buttress the points that you would want to come back. You want to gain from the knowledge and come back, right? So if you look at the last point, which is the 8th point, it talks about your travel plans within the Schengen area. I've listened to people where they talk about how they've been asked what their plan is if they are granted the visa. Most times, like I'd mentioned, people see Malta as a transit location into the Schengen area, right? So you need to clear the doubts of the interviewer that you are not that kind of person. So you don't go say, oh, I plan to, once I get the visa, I plan to spend my vacation in Germany, Italy, and you start, so it could give a wrong signal to the person interviewing you. So when you ask this kind of questions, when you're discussing your travel plan, show little or no interest in using Malta as a transit point. I've explained that your primary responsibility is your studies in Malta. So you tell them, oh, I'm going to Malta to study, and I'll be, confining my activities within that area. If there are opportunities for me to explore other European countries, I will be interested. But as it is right now, my primary responsibility is to visit Malta and, as a student, and observe my study permit rules. So basically, it's important that you have that covered at the point of your interview. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. So again, one thing I want to mention is that for the interview, you have just a video session with your interviewer. So you don't necessarily need to have another person in the room while you are being interviewed. As a matter of fact, they will warn you, right? So you shouldn't try to cut corners and see how some persons would help you get give you questions. So if you notice that, it's a bad signal. It's a bad signal. So ensure that you are truthful, ensure that you are transparent and open as possible. But I guarantee you that if you observe this information I've shared with you right now, at least 70% of your possible questions that will be asked is covered, right? If you're able to have your research well and do the needful. So I believe this video has helped you a lot. So if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please also comment. Please subscribe to our channel. And if you have information or if you have experiences to share of how your interview went, so that people can also get, from this crowdsourcing attempt to get, possible interview questions in real time, and the practice, the real questions that we asked. You can drop in the comment section so other persons can also learn. Thank you very much, guys, and I wish you success in your forthcoming interview, and do well to also share your success story. Until next time, for another exciting content and video, thank you and stay blessed. Bye bye.